Hey, this is Dan here at Studio Blue. This is Pilates All Levels, only optional props if you have a mini ball. Grab one. A pillow could work as well. Also a mini band or a long TheraBand would work as well. As always, if something doesn't feel good in your body, don't push through any kind of bad pain, especially neck, back, or any of your joints. And if you're using the band, especially TheraBands when we get into our glute work, if your resistance is so heavy that you don't have any range of motion, go down in your resistance. It's better to have your full joint range while working the strength of the muscle than losing that joint range of motion. So all that said, we're gonna start standing today with a couple roll downs and just see how our bodies move in. So feet about hip distance, so inner hip distance. Shake out the arms a little bit. Yeah, stand up nice and tall and then close your eyes. And take a couple breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in and breathe out, just start to notice where is your body in space. So what parts of your feet are in contact with the floor? How does your body feel? Spine, shoulders, neck, jaw. And there's no right or wrong in this, right? Just start to notice. And then nod your chin, start to roll down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Soften the knees a bit. Now you can roll into a full roll down, or you can come into halfway lift. So halfway lift is for if you've had any kind of back stuff going on, any herniations, you can keep the back nice and long to decrease the pressure on the joints of the spine. Otherwise, we're just completely folding forward. Soften the knees. As you exhale, roll up one vertebra at a time. Good. And just one more like this. Inhale at the top. Nod the chin, exhale, roll down. Again, just as far as it feels comfortable. So all the way, hands towards floor or hands on shins, halfway lift if you have any kind of back tension. Right? And then again, roll yourself up, one bone at a time. And just kind of take a mental note of how this felt at the beginning of the hour. We'll do it again at the end of the hour. Make your way down to your back, nothing fancy. Just grab your ball or pillow. And then we'll come all the way down, place your ball in between your knees so your feet are ball distance apart. Arms are resting by your side. And as you exhale, press into your feet, squeeze your ball a little bit, curl your tailbone, and start to roll your hips to the sky, one vertebra at a time. So your pelvis lifts up. Feel the back of the glutes connecting, back of the hamstrings, feel the front of the ribs softening. And then as you exhale, roll down slowly, upper back, middle back, lower back, just all the way down. And pelvis to neutral, so there's a little bit of space underneath the low back. And again, squeeze, curl, roll up one vertebra at a time. And at the top, feel like your knees are stretching over your feet. And without actually moving your feet, feel like your heels were very gently pulling towards your shoulders. And then again, roll down slowly, upper, middle, lower back. Yeah. And then keep going with this. So rolling up and down at your own time and your own pace. Yeah. And then for Ashley, just bring the feet a little closer together, just a teeny bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Yes, perfect. Awesome. Yep. And then Jarina, feel the feet turn in just slightly to parallel. Yeah, there you go. So say like two more, all the way up and all the way down. And the Pilates bridge, right? Your knees, your hips, and your shoulders are going to be kind of one nice long line at the top. You're not going to have as much extension in your upper back like a yoga bridge. So it might feel like you're kind of putting on the brakes a little bit early in that bridge. Last one. Yeah. Yeah, and the next time that you come all the way down, we'll just come down, pelvis neutral, right? You still have your ball, give it a little squeeze. And then clasp your hands together, place them behind your head, elbows to the sky. Let your chin drop down a little bit towards your throat, and then lift the head and the chest off the ground. So just about to where the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are off of the floor. Re-squeeze your ball. And then check that your lower back is fairly relaxed, right? Your belly's in, right? Your chest and head are up. Your elbows are reaching a little bit to the sky. Now, on your next breath in, lower the chest and the head to the floor. And again, nod the chin, exhale, curl, head and chest comes up. And then inhale, head and chest slowly lower down. And as we're moving, we're really trying to isolate the movement to the upper spine, the middle spine. The lower spine really isn't going anywhere. It's really not doing too much movement. Inhaling down, exhaling to curl. Right? And that little bit of a squeeze into your ball is going to help get the inner thighs active, which will help encourage pelvic floor and some of the lower abdominals, like your transversus. And just like last 2 or 3 like this. So curling up. Yep, on the exhale, inhale, lowering down. Good. Yeah, the next time that you curl up, hold at the top of that curl. All right, reach your arms forward, palms face down. Your arms are parallel to the ground. And then think of reaching a little bit further and curling up a little higher off your shoulders. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly bring the hands to the head, but don't lower. You should feel your abs have to work a little bit harder to bring those hands around. And then on your next breath, lower the chest and lower the head. And then take an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, squeeze your prop, curl the head and the chest up, reach your arms forward at the top, right? Make sure your tailbone's still on the ground, your lower back is relaxed. On your next breath out, slowly bring hands to the back of the head without lowering the head, right? And then on your next breath, lower the chest, the shoulders, and the head down. One more like this. Take an inhale. Exhale, nod the chin, curl up, reach the arms forward simultaneously. See if you can find a little more fold in your sternum. On your next breath out, keep the chest lifted. Try to keep those shoulders off the ground as your hands wrap around. Now stay right here, and as you exhale, squeeze your ball. Feel your tummy draw down away from your t-shirt. Inhale, and again, exhale, squeeze. Waistline draws in. Inhale, breathe. So as you breathe in, try to breathe wide into the back of the ribs. Yeah. Try to keep the head and the chest lifting off the ground the whole time. Up, almost like your elbows were reaching to the sky. Yes, exactly. Last 2. Good. Last 1. And then lower the chest and the head to the floor. And take your ball off to the side for a moment. Hug your knees into your chest. And just give the hips a little bit of a rock from side to side. Find a place that feels centered. Bring the legs up tabletop. So knees and hips about 90 degrees. Grab the back of your thighs with your hands and lift your chest back up. So advancing the ab work a little bit, just know you can always place your feet back down to the ground where we started. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands wrap back around to the head. Try to keep the shoulders off the ground. On your next breath out, tap the right heel towards the ground. Might touch, might not. Either way is fine. Inhale up. Exhale, left heel towards the ground. Inhale up. Exhaling to tap. Inhaling to lift, right? So you want to feel some work at the base of the ribs, down the center of the stomach, and pretty low to the stomach. Now, if you tap down, you actually touch the floor, but feel your back really starting to pop up or engage too much, just decrease the range of motion, right? You don't have to go super low. If you want to make it harder, start to tap a little further away from your body, as long as you maintain that pelvic lumbar control, right? The pelvis and the low back. Try to keep the chest and head off the ground the whole time. Yeah, 1 more to the left. And then lower the chest, hug the shins into the body. And again, just give the hips a little bit of a roll, a little rock from side to side. And then settle the feet to the floor about 1 hand's distance apart. So it's fairly narrow. Exhale, curl the tailbone, roll your pelvis up to the sky, 1 bone at a time. Yeah, just knees, hips, shoulders, right? A pretty long line. Front of the ribs are heavy. Put some weight in your right leg. Exhale, float the left leg tabletop. Try to keep those hips nice and still. So you should feel a good amount of work into the right glutes. Inhale, lower the left leg down to the ground. Put some weight into it. And then right leg floats up, tabletop. Inhale to lower, exhale to switch. Nice. Keep alternating from side to side. So definitely some core work here, but a lot of glute work. So whatever that standing leg is, that center of the glute, that outer hip area, right into glute medius and minimus is going to help keep your hips square. If you need a little more support, you can always bring your hands onto your hips to give yourself that support, or you can take a ball and place it lightly under your pelvis. Yep. End with your left leg down, right leg lifting and lowering. And then once both feet are heavy again, take an inhale. Exhale, roll down slowly, upper, middle, lower back. All the way down we go. Inhale to neutral. So again, there's that little bit of a natural curve to the lower back. And then exhale, flatten the back, curl the tail, roll your hips to the sky. Articulating as best you can. Again, put some weight into the right leg. Exhale, left leg tabletop. We're going to keep it here. So staying on this side, inhale, tap left heel towards the ground. Hips stay nice and square. Exhale it up. And inhale to tap. Waistline's in, supporting rib cage, pelvis. Glutes are on that standing leg. Right. Nice. Yeah, good. So just stay on that one side. You should be starting to feel some warmth building into the glutes on that side. Yep, exactly. Now, if you start to feel this building into your lower back too much, just lower the hips down a little closer to the floor and really soften the ribs down. See if you can connect into your abs more. Last two. On that last one, set the foot down. Keep the hips lifting. Take a breath. Exhale, left leg floats up. Yep, hold. We're doing this side one more time. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, lift, right? Hands can always come to the hips. Inhale to tap. Ribs soft. Exhale to lift. Good. Yep, feel the ribs soften in Eva just a little bit. Yep, and then feel the tailbone curl under and hips up. There you go. Last two. On the last one, set that left foot down to the ground. Pause, hips stay lifted. Opposite leg floats up now. Good, ribs stay in. Exhale, tap, right heel towards the ground. Bring it up. And again, tap it down. Hips just nice and still. You're only moving from that right hip joint. Good. Everybody feeling this?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is not only your glute max, but also your hip rotators and all those smaller gluteal muscles like your gluteus medius and minimus. Last three. Keep breathing. Last two. Last one, set the foot down. Keep the hips high. Take a breath. And then exhale, that same leg floats up and just one more round, tapping down and lifting, right? Take a break wherever you need it. Yep, rib lines in, good. Waistlines in, good. Yeah, good. Keep going. All right, so you're still on that side. Keep moving. That should be that last one. Feel both feet heavy to the ground. Take an inhale, hips stay lifted. Exhale, roll down slowly. Upper, middle, lower back. Good. Float the legs up tabletop one at a time. Your lower back is going to be a little bit flat to the floor, right? Tailbone's heavy, lower back is lengthened. Legs are up. Grab the back of your thighs. Lift your head in your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands slowly come around to the back of the head. Try to stay lifted. Elbows in your peripheral vision. And again, exhale, you can tap right heel towards the ground, or you can reach that right leg forward about 45 degrees. So the feet are the same height. We inhale, bend it in. Exhale, tap or reach left foot forward about 45 degrees. Inhale, bend. Exhale to reach. So really think of all that stability from your ribs and your pelvis. And as your leg reaches, the front of the hip gets to open, so your abs have to work a little harder, right? And these leg reaches, right, you can always go back into heel taps if that puts more work into your stomach and less into your back. Keep going. End to your left. Whenever you get there, end to your left side. Grab the back of your thighs, right? Stay lifted. Use your arms to offload your abs. Take a breath. Exhale, hands slowly to the back of the head. Now I want you to look at your right knee, and then as you exhale, lift your left shoulder blade up a couple inches. So it's a pretty small twist. Inhale back to center. Look at your left knee. Exhale, right shoulder blade lifts a couple inches. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. So keep going with this, or feet can always come to the ground if you need a little bit more lower back support. It's the same movement through the upper spine, right? Yeah, so starting to get into the obliques now, right? Some more of these muscles that help rotate the trunk, stabilize the trunk. Yep. Good. Nice, good. One more to your left. And then once you finish that left side, lower the head, hug the knees into the body. And then again, just kind of hang out here for a moment, maybe rock the hips a little from side to side. Lovely. And then adding it all together, grab the back of the thighs, lift the head and the chest. All right, tail's heavy, lower back's nice and long, elbows wide, shoulders off the ground. Take an inhale, exhale, hands to the head, stay lifted. On your next breath out, we rotate to the right, left leg can reach long, about 45 degrees, right? Feet are the same height. Inhale, back to center, lift a little higher. Exhale, rotate left, right leg stretches long. Inhale, back to center, exhale, twist, reach. Inhale back. Now this can also be a twist and a heel tap, right? Anything that we've done so far applies. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach. Yep. One more each side. All right, end to your left. And then grab the back of your thighs, lower the head and the chest. Let your knees and your feet open for a moment so your inner thighs just get a little bit of a stretch. And then settle the feet to the floor one at a time. And then lengthen the legs down to the ground, toes point. So coming up into a roll up, if you know you like weights in your hand or a pad under your back, go for it. If you're not sure, we'll figure it out here soon. So your arms will start over your head, your legs are nice and long, your toes are pointed, front of the ribs are heavy. Inhale, the arms, the head, and the chest lift. And then as you exhale, try to keep your heels planted on the ground as we roll up and just take a little stretch forward. So this isn't about necessarily how far you can go, but how connected can you still stay into your core, shoulders are back. As you exhale, curl, start to roll down again, just fairly slow, right? Heels stay heavy, maybe a little bit of a bend into the knees, and just see how far down can you go. Yep, eventually arms overhead. And again, arms, head, chest, exhale, curl. Yeah, yeah, nice. Stretching forward, shoulders back. All right, now if you find that your feet are coming up or there's some discomfort here, you can always take the half roll down and then roll back forward, right? So there's some ways to kind of change this up. Otherwise, full roll downs, down, just as slow and methodical as possible. And up. Yeah. And just try to ease into the shoulders. So spinal articulation, abdominal strength. Last two. Nice. Yeah, and just take your time as best you can. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Nice. Doing good. Last one. So the next time that you roll up, right? No rush, just whenever we get up, hold at the top. And then restack and sit tall. Let your arms come down by your side. Grab your band. So if you're using this band today, especially these little ones, bring it around your ankles, and then you can use your thumbs and just kind of shimmy it. Try to keep it wide. Once it bunches up, it's really hard to get it undone. But we're gonna bring it above the knees if possible, trying to keep it from kind of curling up on itself. It can just start to dig into your skin, doesn't necessarily feel great. Okay, so once the band's on, we're gonna come on to your side. Doesn't matter what side, just make sure you have a little bit of a view of me. And now your bottom arm can be straight with the palm up. It can be bent. Just make sure your head has a little bit of support. Knees are bent forward, heels are in line with your sit bones. And then take your top hip and lengthen it down towards your feet. So you've created some space in from the ribs to the pelvis, waistline in, lift your top knee up and open, and hold here. Flex your top foot and squeeze your heels together. So make sure those heels are touching. Your top foot is turned out, so toes are towards the sky, and my top heel is pushing down while my knee is lifting up. Slowly lower down. Set the stomach. And again, exhale, thigh lifts. So I'm finding this pivot in the hip joint without moving the pelvis. Inhale to lower. And exhale to lift. So a couple different things happening here, right? So you have the lift part, you have the pause part, and then you have the controlling down part, right? Does everybody feel this? Okay, cool. So if you don't, let me know. So it should be kind of that full glute working to turn the leg open. Yeah, green bands are kind of a medium weight. Blue gets a little heavier. Black for this, I don't think you necessarily need it. It's pretty heavy, right? I don't know if you'd be able to move your leg. Yeah, good, this looks good. Couple more like this. Yeah, waistline still in, so ribs, pelvis, none of that's moving. Last one. And now lift the thigh and the knee up and pause, right? Lift your foot up to meet it. So your thigh, knee, shin, all that is just parallel to the ground. Your top knee stays 90 degrees. I'm gonna push my leg a little bit back in space to open up the hip slightly. Hold there. Keep the tension of the band, rotate your thigh in. So it's gonna look like, right? Feel like your foot is kicking to the sky. Inhale back to center, don't lose the tension. Exhale, rotate your thigh in. And then back to center. And again, rotate thigh in and back to center. Yep. And this should hit smack dab in the outer side of the glutes. Good, keep going. This is gonna get glute, some different deep glute muscles, right? Last two. These ones, right, if you haven't done a lot of this internal work, they can get pretty tired pretty quick. Last one. Yeah, like real quick. Okay, rest for a moment. Keep the band, right? We're gonna stay on this side. So really important to train your glutes and all of the ranges and things that they do. All right, so we're still on that same side, all right? So now your thigh, your knee, your foot, they lift, right? Our pelvis, right? Make sure it's not hiking up. You have some length. I'm gonna reach this thigh a little bit back in space. Hold, ribs stay in, lengthen that leg, just straighten that leg behind you. So it's at a little bit of a diagonal. Rotate your thigh in slightly, point your foot. Yep, keep the leg straight, hold there. Yep, so you're reaching back slightly. Can you feel your outer butt muscle? Okay, good, nice. So this is good. We have glutes Tap your toe towards the floor. Keep that leg a little behind you. And then exhale, lift up. And it doesn't have to be really high. I'm more concerned about the hip hiking rather than how high this leg gets. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. So this is going to work into those abductors. Yep. And as your leg comes down, try to keep it behind you a little bit as it taps down. Yeah, there you go. Nice. And lifts, right? So obviously we don't have to use a band for this. The band is going to make all of this quite a bit harder. Yep. And then Eva, feel that leg go back in space just a little. There you go. Good. Last two. Yep. Keep that internal rotation if you can. Last one. And then bend it in and just kind of pat out, rub out the side of those glutes, the side of those hip muscles. And then staying on the same side, press yourself up onto your forearm. And your knees are still a little bent forward, the heels are back. Take your top hand under your armpit and just kind of sink down a little bit. You're going to feel your shoulder lift. There's not really too much going on, right? Press into your bottom forearm, lift your ribs, and feel these armpit muscles kick in. So your lats are on, your obliques are on. Shoulders out of the ear, neck is long, top arm to the sky, and then maybe lift the hips slightly. The knees and the feet will stay on the ground, right? And I want you to see if you can feel your bottom glutes, right? Sweet. So this is closed chain now abductor work. So it's the same thing or similar to what we were doing on that top leg. So now if you want to add on, can you keep this, lift your top thigh, knee, and foot, and can you feel both glutes? Right? You probably feel that top one quite a bit because we just did a lot of work on it. The ribs are still in, your core is connected, your glutes are on, your shoulders are down, your neck is long. Holding for another 10, 9, breathing, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Rest down on 1. Take a breath. Set your shoulder, set your armpit area. Hips lift again, knees push down, feet stay on the ground. Top arm can come up. So again, right, those outer hip muscles are working, outer glutes. Maybe top thigh, knee, foot lifts. And again, we're holding. Now, if your neck starts to get tense, you can always look down. Sometimes this will just help offload, or just keep it nice and neutral. Shoulders out of ears. Holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, rest. Nice job. Flip sides. All right. So same neck setup as we had on this other side. So if your arm was long, keep it long. If it was bent, it can be bent. Knees bent forward, heels in line with sit bones, right? Just make sure you are on your opposite side. If you're not sure, you'll figure it out pretty quick. Top hand to that top hip. Lengthen this hip down, right? So you want to feel some length on the top waistline and just a little bit of space under the bottom waistline. Top knee lifts, feet stay connected, right? Now squeeze your heels together, right? Really press the heels together. Take only your top foot, flex it, and turn your toes to the sky, but keep your heels together and see if you can still feel your glutes on. Slowly lower this knee down. Exhale, lift, right? Set the stomach, lift. Slowly lower. And then bring your knees forward just a little bit for me. Yeah, there you go. Nice. You got it. Yep. So lift. There's that moment of pause. Slowly lower. And again, lift. Moment of pause. Slowly lower. Lift. Slowly lower. And all of that core work that we did in the beginning, you're using that to keep your rib cage and your pelvis stable, right? So as the leg goes up, you're not letting the whole body and pelvis kind of roll with it. You're just moving in that joint. And that should really start to hit into your glutes. Yep. Nice, good. Couple more. Nice, this looks good. Last one. I now lift the top thigh, knee, and foot. So about parallel to the ground, you have tension in your band. Knee, top knee stays 90 degrees. push back slightly in space. So we've opened up through the front of this hip a little bit. And then as you exhale, don't lose the tension of the band. Rotate your thigh in, back to center, and rotate in. As these muscles get tired, you'll start to see just like a kind of a leg lift, but make sure you're still getting that rotation, right? So the foot's kicking to the sky. We're maintaining the tension in the band. We're not hiking through the hip. And we're feeling our glutes, right? So keep finding that rotation. Keep the leg back. Keep it there. Now just rotate from there. Yep, last two. Last one. And then let that leg come down. Take a breath. Right, lift back up. Push that leg slightly behind you and then straighten the leg fully. So I'm reaching back at a diagonal with a straight leg. Point your foot. Rotate the thigh in a little bit and drop your big toe towards the floor behind you. Right? Keep that leg straight. Lengthen and lift back up. Drop down. Lengthen, lift. So as you lift up, try not to hike that hip. Keep the ribs in. Keep the tummy in. So outer gluteals. Yep. You got it. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Last three. 2. Last one. Hold. And then bend in and just pad out those outer hip muscles. Nicely done. And we'll drop ourselves up onto our bottom forearm. Top hand under the armpit just for a moment. You can kind of sink down, right? Just kind of feel how nothing's really happening. And then push into that bottom arm, feel the ribs lift, shoulder drops, and just feel that there's some muscular work under here. Hips can lift when you're ready. Top arm can lift. So this whole under waistline is working. Yeah, and then maybe the top thigh, knee, and foot lift. So both sides of the glutes are working. We're just going to hold here. Yep. Rib lines in, waistlines in. We're breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, lower everything down. Take a breath. Reset your shoulder. Yep. Set your armpit line, your rib line. Lift the hips. Top arm to the sky. Maybe the top leg lifts. Yeah. And again, we just hold. So that bottom leg is pushing down. Bottom hip muscles are on. Top hip muscles are on. Everything's working. Waistline's in. Holding for another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rest. All the way down. Let's release that band. If you were working with it still, goodbye bands. All right, we're not quite done with our glutes yet. So we are going to come up to the top edge of the mat. Okie doke. So everything should be nice and warmed up. So we're going to come onto the forearms. You can measure your elbow distance by grabbing onto your upper biceps. So it'll be a pretty good place to start. And then your hands can come together, or you can separate them if you want a little bit more work on your shoulders and shoulder blades, right? Hands together is more stable. Now knees about hand distance apart right under the hips. So the knees are bent. Roll your shoulders down, hug your inner elbows in, and really push down through your forearms. Take your left leg, reach it up and back, and just pause. Shoulders melting out of the ears. Right? Lower rib line, lower waistlines drawing in. And then take that top leg, bend it in and down. Exhale, reach back and up. Yep. Try to let the head relax a little bit. Jaw is relaxed as well. So keep going with this. So there's a lot going on, right? We've started to incorporate a little bit more core, a little bit more shoulders. Your standing leg, right? That outer hip. Yeah. And then just stay on that one side for me, just one side. Those outer hip muscles, they're working to keep you from falling over, right? To keep you from leaning over. And then the leg that's lifting and lowering, those glutes are working to help move the leg and open up the hip. Right? Now, next time you lift, let's stay lifted, right? And then adding on, you can take your top knee and bend it towards your top shoulder. So the knee will lift slightly. It bends, exhale, reach back up and out. Inhale, bend, knee kind of towards shoulder, armpit, and reach back up. Yeah, and again, we're just going to kind of keep progressing these, keep advancing them. You can always peel back to more of the stable version. Waistline stays long. One more like this, and I'll give you one more way to add on. So next time you lift your left leg, hold. If you want to advance this, turn your right forearm to face the front edge of your mat. Take your left palm off to the left side of your mat. Now roll shoulders out of ears. I'm going to rotate my ribs and my pelvis open. So my pelvis is turning open on that bottom leg. Shoulders are out of the ears. Now, same thing. Take that top leg, bend it in towards your top shoulder, your top armpit. Keep the knee high. Exhale, reach up and out. Waistline stays in. Inhale, bend. Exhale, reach. Good. Again, so 3 different progressions on this. The first is the most stable, and we progressed up to kind of the most advanced, right? Yeah, feel shoulders rolling out of the ears. Keep looking down at your bottom wrist, kind of like you're looking at a watch, just so your neck stays pretty long. And you should definitely feel both legs working on this. You'll most likely really feel that stabilizing leg, the one on the ground, starting to burn out, right? Last 2. And last 1. Nice, bend in. Let everything come down. Child's pose, feet together, knees open. And just reach those arms forward for a moment. And take a couple deep breaths. And rise back up onto the forearms. Yep, knees almost touching, right under the hips. Right, hands can be together or apart. Push down through your forearms. Hug your inner elbows in, draw your shoulders back and down, and then take your right leg up and back. Hips stay nice and still. Waistline stays in. All that core work we did, we're using it here. Bend in and down. Exhale back and up. Bending down and in. Exhale back and up. Now the peel back for your shoulders or neck on this, you can always come up onto your hands if your neck gets a little bit tired, right? Yep, lower rib line in, waistline in. Let the head relax a little. Good. Yeah, couple more. One more like this. Reach up. If we're advancing, bend your top knee open slightly. So top knee bends towards the top shoulder and then reach back out and up. So again, bend open. The pelvis will turn open a little bit. That top leg turns out a little. And then we reach back through parallel. So really active on the bend in and the reach up. Waistline stays long. Neck stays relaxed. Shoulders stay out of the ears. One more like this. And then if you want to advance, reach your leg up and out. Left forearm to the top edge of the mat. Your right arm just walks away from your mat for a moment. Shoulders out of ears, and then I'm rotating my pelvis open and my ribs open, right? So that bottom leg, those bottom glutes are working. Top knee, bend it, right? Keep it high. It comes towards that top armpit. Exhale, reach out and up. Inhale, bend in. Neck stays long. So just looking down at that bottom arm. Reach. Inhale, bend. Exhale, reach. Good. Keep your waistline in. It's really not too much movement to the spine on this, right? A lot of hip stability on the bottom leg, hip movement on that top leg. Last 2. Last 1. Hold for a breath at the top, and then lower everything down again to child's pose. Feet together, knees open. Arms can walk out in front of you, or you can take your hands under the forehead. Take a couple full breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Yeah, just letting those glutes stretch out for a moment. Good. And then make your way onto your stomach. So your feet can be as wide as you need them for your lower back to feel pretty relaxed. So shoulder distance is usually pretty nice. Your arms are going to reach back, palms face down on the outside edge of your mat, nose an inch off the ground. Press down through the pubic bone, lift up through your tummy. And then as you inhale, reach the crown of the head forward and float up just to the midline of your breastbone. So really looking for upper back extension, lower back is going to stay pretty still, right? On your next breath out, slowly lower the chest, the shoulders, and the head. And again, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, start to peel up, reach to the crown of the head. Keep your eyes, for the most part, looking down a bit towards the mat in front of you. And then stay here, root down through your pubic bone, lift through your belly, maybe float your arms up. So again, that upper mid-back line of the spine should be working. Maybe float the legs up. Really not too much change to the lower back. I've just lengthened through my legs. The center of the glutes are on. Everything lowers back down. Feet and arms stay heavy. Inhale, peel up. So lengthen through the crown of the head, upper spine, middle spine. If you're advancing, maybe exhale the arms, and then the legs can float up. So that whole back line of the spine, shoulders, hips, everything's working. Everything lowers. Again, limbs stay heavy. Inhale, peel up, crown of the head, shoulders, spine. Keep your waistline drawing up from your tummy to your stomach. Arms lift, legs lift if we're going there. Hold. Now you can stay with what we were just doing or stay lifted. Exhale, reach your arms out to a T. Roll your shoulders out of your ears. Keep your hands shoulder height, palms facing down. And then as you inhale, bring your arms back in by your side. Palms can face your hips. Exhale, keep lifting through your waistline, open the arms. Turn the palms to face down. Inhale, hands reach back towards your hips. Now this can be done with your feet on the ground if you want a little bit more support. It can be done with your feet and your head on the ground as well. Last two. But as those arms reach a little further away from the body, your upper spine, your middle spine, and your core, they all have to do a little bit more work. Last one. Next time your arms drawn towards your body, lower everything down. Take the hands under the forehead, bend your knees, and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Relax your shoulders. And then keep the knees bent. Heels come together, feet are flexed and turned out. So toes are apart, heels squeeze together. Knees open, shoulder distance, roll your shoulders out of the ears. Press your pubic bone into the ground, lift your stomach, and then just squeeze your heels and see if you can feel the glutes turn on. And then inhale, relax. And again, exhale, squeeze your heels, root through the pubic bone, see if you can feel your glutes turn on without your hamstrings kicking in too much. Inhale, relax, one more like this. Exhale, squeeze. And then maybe if you want to advance, lift the heels up just a touch off the ground. So your thighs start to lift as well. So front of the hips open, center of the glutes turn on. Stomach stays in. Shoulders stay down. Lower the knees. One more heel squeeze, maybe with that thigh lift. Again, it's not a huge motion. Lower. Take the hands underneath you, press up to hands and knees. Walk up to the front edge of your mat. Once you're here, round your spine like a cat. And really press into your palms, let your chin drop. And then inhale, open the chest. Glide your shoulders down. Keep your stomach drawing in, even though you're letting your back extend, right? So you have that support. Find the place in the middle. Take one leg at a time back into full plank. Feet and thighs come together. Now this can also be low plank, right? We can be on the knees. We can be on the forearms. You have a lot of different options here. But really feel like, right, as you push into your arms and as you push into your feet, feel like you can kind of puff up through your upper back a little bit in your shoulder blades. So there's some work there. Keep your stomach in. Keep your feet pushing down. Keep moving, or keep breathing rather. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, down dog or child's pose, your choice. Wherever you're at, take a full breath in through nose, out through mouth. And then this time, come down onto your forearms with your knees on the ground. So we're gonna come into a low forearm plank to start. And you really wanna get the back in a good position here in the shoulder blades. So my shoulders are out of my ears. My forearms are pushing down, and I'm really thinking of kind of puffing up through my middle back and my upper back. So I'm not real extended in my low spine. Now, give the glutes just a little bit of a squeeze. Maybe extend the legs. Just make sure that position in the back hasn't changed. Hold and breathe. Yep. Good. Yes. Yep. Yep. So just imagine, right? Kind of right around that middle kind of base of the ribs, just a little bit of a puff up through that area. So those core muscles are lifting for 5, 4, 3, 2, child's pose on 1. Nicely done. So right, that full core gets to work, not just the front, but the sides, your back muscles, everything gets to work together. Nice. All right, and let's come up to standing any way you'd like to get there. If you need help with balance, have a wall close by or a countertop, a chair if you're at home, anything like that. Otherwise, stand with your feet just under your armpits, right? So about armpit distance, hip distance or so. A little bit of a bend in the knees, and then take the heel of your hand to your hip bones, and then take your fingers down towards your hip joints. So right where your peace fingers are is going to be about where your hip joint is. So once you found that, little bend in the knees, and just do a small waiter's bow. And you're going to feel your fingers kind of get gobbled up into your joints a little bit, right? You don't want to tuck and feel your fingers getting pushed forward, right? Draw your abs in like you were doing a plank, and then keep weight in your right leg, and then just walk your left leg back, right? It's barely touching the ground, but it is touching. So just walk back to you're almost kind of in this high lunge position, and then walk back to where you started and stay on this side. You're just going to keep doing that motion. So walking back, right? I'll do it from this view as well. Yeah, and then walking back in, right? And then that standing leg, those glute muscles should be starting to kick in, right? So the outer butt, center of the butt, really everything, right? Everything we did on our side, we're just starting to bring it more upright into kind of functional posture. Yeah. Yeah, just stay on that same side. Make sure that standing leg is bent. Make sure the knee isn't falling inward. Waistline's in. Yep, same leg. Now just see if you can just reach that leg a little bit out to the side. Nothing else changes. And then back to center. And you should feel your outer hip muscles really start to kick in as this leg gets further away from you. Yeah, last 2. And last one. Nice, all the way up. Shake out that standing leg. All right, so same thing other side, right? A little bit of a bend in the knees. Fold back into the hips, so hips reach back slightly. So it's kind of like just like almost like a little chair pose or mini squat. Keep weight in your left leg, or just make sure you're on your opposite, and start to tap your right toes back in space. Minimal movement to the pelvis, to the rib line, and then bring it in. And again, you can hold on to something. Even a pull or a stick would work as well. And then start to even check in with your standing foot that first toe isn't really gripped into the ground, right? So you feel the work throughout the whole foot, the arch, the shin muscles, up the leg, into the glutes, into the core. Waistline's in. Hips are level. The next time you're in, start to reach that same leg out to the side a little bit. Bringing it back in. Reaching out. Back in. Good. Next time it comes in, stand up nice and tall, shake out your arms, shake out your legs a little bit. And then again, feet hip distance. And then close your eyes. So just standing tall again, kind of towards the end of the hour. Notice how this feels compared to the start of class or the beginning of the hour. So just again, a couple deep breaths in through nose, out through mouth. Notice if you feel any more buoyant in your hips and the joints themselves. So you have that support of all those glute muscles around them. Soften the knees, exhale, nod the chin, roll down again. Just coming all the way down towards the ground as far as it's comfortable. Take an inhale once you hit the bottom. Exhale, root through your feet. Use your legs to help roll you up. Core muscles, shoulders open. Head lifts. We'll do one more like that. Inhale at the top. Exhale, nod your chin, roll it down. And halfway lift is always an option as well. Let everything be heavy. And again, root through the feet, roll up. Allow your head to come up last. And we'll end you there today. Thanks for joining.